Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we have another knife review, and today's review is on this guy. This is the Ganzo Firebird FH-41. So, this is the first Ganzo review I'm doing on the channel. This is kind of a neat little knife, so let's get right into it and start off with our size comparisons. So first off, let's bring out our rats. There's the one. You know, I never know if I should line up the butt or the pivot of the knife. Probably the pivots. Yeah, you know what? From here on out, we're going to line up pivots. Decisions made on the fly. So as you can see, it comes in a pretty mid... it sizes between the two rats. I'll put it like that. Next up, let's bring out the PM2. Pivots. And where did my bug out go? There he is. And our bug out. And line up the pivots again. So, once again, kind of between those two knives. Let's get our Civivis, which I think these are going to be the most relevant comparison. So again, right there in the middle. The specs on this guy, the actual lengths and stuff, we will do here in just a second. Let's get our Gerbers out of the way, and then there's one more knife I want to compare this guy to. There's the mini paraframe and the large paraframe. Alright, awesome. And the knife that I want to compare this guy to now is actually my favorite budget knife, the CJRB Feldspar. And I will come back to this comparison later on in the review. So let's get some actual sizes out of the way. You might notice that I haven't been giving behind the edge thickness in a lot of my reviews lately. That's because my calipers broke, so until I get new ones, yeah, it's a situation. Alright, you know what, I hate this ruler. Let's grab my better one. There we go. When you're measuring a knife, it doesn't help when the ruler doesn't go all the way to the end. I hate that. So, got my one that does start all the way at the end. So, for blade length, we are looking at about 3.5 inches on the dot to here. If we go like to there, it's, yeah about 3.5 inches on the dot. Height of the blade, a little bit under an inch. Yeah. Overall, well, let's measure the handle length. I'll call that 4 inches, 4 1/4. So you're looking at like 7 3/4 inches, 8 inches for this guy. So pretty good size. D2 steel, liner lock, running on bearings, steel clip, contoured G10 scales that are actually over the liners. The liners are inset. So, a little bit about Ganzo. Ganzo is a brand that I kind of avoided for a long time because, you know, they made designs that are, you know, reminiscent of other knives, you know. And I just never really was super into them. But I started to notice that they're starting to make a lot more of their own designs. They've even partnered with a couple of designers, I think, or maybe just one, I'm not sure. And after talking to a couple people, I was like, you know what, maybe I'll give Ganzo a try. And especially after watching channels like Canadian Cutting Edge. He's a great channel. If you're not watching him, you should. He kind of convinced me to give Ganzo a try. And this is not my first Ganzo knife. I actually had this guy. I've had this guy for quite a while. This is my first Ganzo. It's the F750. And we might do a review on this guy one of these days, but I have to say, I'm very impressed with this knife. I paid 25 bucks for this. And yeah, I actually do feel like I got a lot of knife for my money. So let's go ahead and let's go cut up some stuff and talk about this guy a little bit. All right, Ganzo FH-41. I've got some cardboard scraps here from other knife cuttings. And so let's go ahead and just get into it. So, as I said, you have this really nice drop point blade, D2 steel, and it is actually very thin behind the edge. This is a very well ground knife. All right, that's as small as I'm gonna go. So yeah, it slices fantastic. It slices really, really good. The one place where it does have a little bit of a hiccup is, as you can see, there's a lot of distal taper on this knife actually from here to here. So it is actually pretty thick back towards the handle, but it does get very, very thin out towards the tip. Getting that guy off a little bit. Well, I should have a rag around here somewhere. My entire life is filled with school books and knife supplies at the moment. So, ergos. Very nice, actually. These ergos are very nice. You can fill the pocket clip a little bit, but it's not terrible. This little area up here isn't really a choil. I wouldn't use it as a choil, at least. The handle is very round. You know, it's pretty round like that, but it's also contoured, so it feels, you know, round in the hand. You have jimping up here that is pretty sharp, actually, but it locks you in good. The jimping on a flipper tab helps lock your finger in, and yeah. How's it carry? So as you can see, it's got this pretty basic clip. The clip is recessed, but the screws are not. However, it goes in and out of the pocket with no problem. No problem at all. All right, how's the action? It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Let's see, I'm going to put my thumb as far back as I can so it doesn't catch the blade. It's incredibly smooth. It's incredibly smooth. It's very impressive. And yeah, this is great action. Light switch. Works like a dream. Push button. Works like a dream. Yeah. One thing I guess I forgot to mention with the carry is the knife is very plain in profile. So, you know, it's pretty narrow in general, so it doesn't take up a whole lot of pocket real estate, but yeah. Man, that is just so smooth. All right, though, let's go back to the table, talk about what I like and don't like about the Ganzo FH-41. Alrighty, the Ganzo FH-41. Let's jump right into what I'm liking about this guy. So first thing, the looks. This knife looks, to me at least, this looks amazing. I love this look. And yeah, at the end of this, I'll say some more about the elements of this knife that I like, and what the things I like kind of mean for me. It's a weird thing to say. You'll understand later. But yeah, the looks are awesome. They really, really are. Next thing, variety. You can get these in a bunch of different colors. And I like the gray, so I got the gray. Next, the blade. That's a nice blade. It really is. As I said earlier, it does have quite a bit of distal taper, so let's see, what can I compare this to? So if you like bring out this VV Elementum, you can see it's, you know, a lot thicker than the Elementum back here, but once you get up to the tips, they're not so different. The Elementum is still a little bit thinner, but yeah, it's just a VV. So, but yeah, this blade performs 100% as you would want it to. It's great for slicing and piercing and just everyday EDC. And it's in that size range that I really like. That's another thing. I like the size of this knife quite a bit. Next thing I like is the carryability. This knife is very easy to carry. If those screws right there were flat, this pocket clip would be just about perfect. They're not flat, but this clip still works really, really good. It's got quite a bit of spring, goes in and out of my pants with no problem. So that's something I really appreciate. I do wish it was, you know, reversible, but it's not, so sorry, lefties. Next thing, minimal hardware. 1 screw, 2 screws. That's always a nice thing to see, so I appreciate that. Another thing I like is this G10 is nice. It's nice G10. I like the way it feels, and even more importantly, I like the way it's used. I like this handle a lot. You can see that the knife is chamfered really well in all these different areas. I mean, you can look here. You've got, you know, the little chamfer here, which, you know, would kind of make sense for like a thumb stud. But what it does is when you're holding it, it helps lock you in comfortably. So that's really, really nice. Contoured scales are something that I'm a huge fan of. A huge fan. And in fact, the handle on this guy reminds me a lot of the CGRB Feldspar. Like, a lot. And the clip is actually kind of this clip's kind of a mix between the CGRB and the Civivi clips. Maybe that's just me, but I think so. But yeah, the ergos on this guy are great. This handle all around is just great. Ergonomically, it's great. It looks good. The G10 is great. How it's used is great. You know, contoured and chamfered and very, very nice. Very nice. This jumping up here is maybe a little bit too sharp, but, you know, it's well placed. So, always like to see that. Next thing that's great, access to the liner. Oh yeah, so easy to get back to that lock. That's always something that I look for. With the blade, I guess I should have mentioned, give you a pretty good sharpening choil. I do like, with the handle again, I'm jumping all over the place, the countersunk liners. That's something that's pretty cool. So, what's a sorry, can't keep my thoughts straight. The last thing that I like about this guy a lot is the action. I mean, look at this. It's just so smooth. I haven't done anything to this knife. It was like this out of the box. You know, usually, you know, you get a knife, and as you use it and carry it, the action gets better and better. This action is just as good as when I first got it out of the box. And that's pretty impressive. And it also has kind of a unique... I don't know how to describe it. Let me see if the camera microphones will pick this up. I don't know. There's like this little... I don't know. You feel the detent break. There's a little pop when the detent breaks, and then the thunk of it locking up. They happen so close together, it's almost one sound, but is it... Let's bring out another knife, see if we can compare sounds. Like, see, with this guy, you just hear it locking up. That's the Kershaw bare knuckle. And with this guy, I can really hear the detent break and then the knife lock up. I don't know. It's a great action. This is a long way of saying that it's a great action. And it is a great action. It's a fantastic action. And the last thing I like... Did I already say the action was the last thing I like? If so, that was a lie. Oh my gosh, why write notes if you're not going to use them, idiot? The last thing I like is that this guy is affordable. Like I said, I got mine for $25. I've looked on Amazon lately. They seem to be about $27. That's still a great deal. It's a great deal. That's, you know, about $10 less than most of your CGRBs. Yeah, you can't argue with that. That's a good price. However, there are still things to complain about, and let's go complain. All right, so before I start complaining and getting into what I don't like about this knife, I want to talk about just some random things that don't have to do with the knife directly. So we're going to set him over here for a sec. Ganzo knives come with these little pouches that can kind of double as microfiber cloths. So that's pretty nice. Oh, that's what that is. I thought I was getting some lock rock, but I was like, that feels solid, but I'm hearing a sound. It's this plastic part hitting the blade. I'm an idiot. Anyways, what I was getting at is for the 25, 27, whatever, dollar price tag, extra goodies like this are, I mean, they're extra goodies. That's pretty cool. But I'm not putting this in good or bad or anything because I know some people don't care about that. And it doesn't really have to do with the knife itself. It's just something I thought I'd mention. Another thing I just thought I'd mention is people ask me to talk about like knife warranties. I've never used Ganzo's warranty, but they do give you a little warranty card. It's good for a year, and it covers, from what I can tell, only manufacturer defects. So kind of standard type thing. I haven't tried them out. I don't know what their customer service is like. I would guess not amazing, but I mean, that's just a guess. So they do give you a nice little printout of a knife. Not sure what model that is. I'm not a Ganzo expert, but yeah. The next thing I want to talk about is something that I would definitely consider to be bad, but it's not going to count to this knife exactly. So let's bring out my other Ganzo. And that's just Ganzo as a company, as an idea. Like I said, I did resist getting Ganzos for a long time because I didn't like that they were, making kind of copy. They were copying designs. They weren't trying to do clones. They really weren't, which is good. But they did copy some designs. They had, anyways, we won't get into that. But at the end of the day, they do make good knives. they do make good knives, and I cannot deny that. And after watching channels talk about them, like I already mentioned, Canadian Cutting Edge, the Knife Beater, even Birdshot IV, all great channels, all great channels. I was always a little bit curious about Ganzos, but I guess a little bit too prideful to buy some. And especially since I've had experience with clones in the past, and I don't like to support that. But, you know, as I already said, these make copies, not clones. I think that if Ganzo were to completely scrub all their copies, pardon me, out of their, I guess we can call it their catalog, I think a lot more knife people would take them seriously. I think they would be very well regarded. As far as I can tell, they use the legit materials. What they say the knife is made out of is what it's made out of. This D2, from what I've heard from testing and stuff, is actual D2, and this is, I believe, 440C. Yeah, 440C. So, you know, that's great. But, yeah. And maybe these two knives are both copies of other models I don't know about. I don't know, but they did use the axis lock before the patent expired. That was something that's kind of gross, but I guess they're good now. So just want to say that stuff for some reason. But all right, so let's get into my actual complaints about the knife. I think I decided to do that little rant, I guess, because I really don't have so much bad to say about this guy. I really don't, and I looked, believe me. Okay, what's bad? When I first got this guy, had a little bit of lock stick. I fixed the lock stick using the Sharpie method, and no more lock stick problems. Lock stick is something that bothers me to no end. So, you know, a lot of times, like if a knife is uncentered or, you know, has blade play, I will leave that mostly, well, not blade play really, but if it's off center, I'll leave that mostly alone until after I do the review. But with lock stick, I gotta fix it before I do the review because it's just using the knife and it's got lock stick just bothers me. Lanyard hole is kind of just thrown in there, but I don't really care, honestly. This knife did, I didn't mention, but it did come perfectly centered and running like a dream. Fit and finish was very good on it when I got him. You know, at this price, there's really not a whole lot to complain about. I already got the lock stick issue out of the way. Might be some fitment issues, yeah, right there around the pivot screw. Between the G10 and the pivot screw, there's some fitment issues. But, yeah, that's about it. So let's go ahead and go on to my final conclusions. Which, this knife is very close to being what I would consider to be my perfect urban EDC. And I'm very surprised to say that. This does remind me in a lot of ways of a flipper version of the CJRB Feldspar, which is a knife I love a lot. This knife here checks off a lot of boxes for me. D2 blade steel is a steel that I like a whole lot. Has a great action. I love this design. This knife looks so good to me. I love this drop point. I love the rounding. I love contoured scales. The ergonomics are so good. The only things keeping this knife back from being my perfect urban EDC is I do kind of wish there was, actually, do I wish there was a finger choil? Maybe not. No, I don't think I do. I don't think I do wish there was a finger choil. I wish there was, do I wish there was multiple deployments? Yeah, multiple deployment options would be nice. And I wish there was internal stop pins, because that's just something that I like. And I wish it wasn't made by Ganzo. That was a really, really mean thing to say. That was a mean thing to say. I am very sorry, but, you know, I'm going to be honest. If this had a Kershaw logo or a QSP or a Civivi or CGRB or something, it would just make my day. But it doesn't. It's got the Firebird on it. So let's go ahead and... You know, here's something I can complain about. They have a little bit of a paragraph on the blade. They do. But, I mean, again, 27 bucks doesn't really bother me. The thing that they managed to do with the 27 bucks, you know, they milled out the liners. They countersunk the liners. They contoured the G10. They've got a good clip. They have a fantastic action, a great blade, good materials. For the price you're paying, this is honestly a fantastic deal. A fantastic deal. Another thing I wish it would have had if it's my perfect EDC knife is a pivot collar. Don't know why I decided to shout that out right now, but yeah, this knife is awesome. It's very good. It's lightweight. You know, it's thin, so it's really, really super easy to carry. It's functional. It looks good. It's inexpensive. And honestly, you know, this knife has really actually changed my opinion about Ganzo. I'm still not going to buy any of their copy designs, but there might be some future Ganzos in my life. And this, yeah, I like this knife a whole lot. A whole lot. This is a great, great knife. So there you have it, guys. That's my review of the Ganzo FH-41. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Bye now.